many years now have you been doing this?
Well, I started precisely 47 years ago. That was 1977.
Okay.
First and foremost, let me congratulate several people, on this 28th anniversary. You have done greatly well in the industry as well, so I really need to commend you. And the publisher, the main doctor himself, your level of humility, I think, I won't say it's incomparable, because similar to your way on but at least to an extent, to me as a person, I think I have to acknowledge that.
Thank you.
Your level of humility is fantastic. We really need to say that. And I'm very sure some of my colleagues will agree with me on that. Like I said, I've been in the industry like over 4 decades now, and I started as a stage person. I had my tutelage under 3 people.
Okay.
I started with the late Dele. Dele died many years ago, and was not all that known, but I still need to acknowledge the fact that I started with him.
Okay.
That is one. Then another Baba in the industry, the name Baba Abaru Oloko Theatre, and Michael Adebisi Oloko. He acted like Ogundi stuff. Baba Kurudu. Then the third person is still very much active and is still very much around. That's Pastor Tubos Odosi, popularly known as Baba Amunye. Those are the 3 people that I started my career with. But I've said it many times, theater is not by accident for me. The environment where I grew up actually influenced my theater career in the craft, because I grew up in the village. So all those things that were happening then actually influenced me. That's how I got into theater. I don't need to go back to that, but that was my humble beginning.
Growing up was here, was where?
Yeah, I was actually born in Ilefe, but after the demise of my mom, I went back to Jebu. I'm from Uri, Jebu. I'm an Ijebu boy. I'm an Ijebu man now. I'm an Ijebu man. I grew up in when I started growing, we lost our mom. Then that forced us to come back to Ijebu. So we came back to Ijebu precisely in 1969. So I started, I continued my education. I made my elementary school precisely in Falafomu. It's a village. Along the Ijebu, the road via my town, via Uru. That's where I started. And then a lot of activities. I mean, traditional festivals. So I discovered myself early enough because I dance, I sing, and I draw. So when I go to modern school, I didn't have the privilege of going to secondary school, but I went to a modern school. So when I got there, those people that started coming to school to come and perform, the likes of Baba Munye, Umelani, Aisho Pepe, the Dele stuff, Odule then. So I developed interest. And that was how I got into theater. So when somebody just came to our school, he was relatively young too. That was the man that I have just mentioned, Dele. Okay. He came there and I said, my bro, can I follow you? He said, why not if you're interested? And that was the beginning. That's how I started. To God be the glory. I've been in the system, that I've not done any other thing. I've been an actor all my life. Though I taught briefly when I had the opportunity of going to teacher training college, because I have passion for education. I'm passionately in love with education. Maybe not for the death of my mom, maybe I will have become a professor today. I definitely know sure that people keep saying that. I said no, possible because I have passion for it. Till tomorrow, I still have passion for education. So I see no reason why I wouldn't have achieved that. So when I went back to teacher training college, I met some people there, and because I actually educated myself through. So I met some people there. So I met the likes of Dele and teacher training, and brought them together. I said, okay, I am coming from, I was actually coming from theater background, and I told them, if you could join me, I don't mind. I was doing that. I was trying to be smart, because I was doing that so that I could fend for myself, so that I could, finance my education. Though it was a little bit free, partially free then, but not without spending little, because I left teacher training college in 1982. That was 42 years ago. So, and I went back to my theater practice, and till today, I've been doing it.
Why are you so passionate about theater? Because anytime I meet you, you're always talking about the theater, the love for theater.
Yeah, because like I said, I discovered myself. I just thought, with all these talents now, I can dance, I can sing, I can draw. So why? All these people that were coming then, that was exactly what they were doing. So if they could be making money through that, that what stops me from doing that. That was the first interest, discovery. Then to make, ends meet is another factor to it, because maybe if I have not done that, I may not know where I would have ended. So I chose rightly there. I really, okay, with this, if people can make money, then I will also make money. But I'm a very determined person, very, very determined person. When I'm interested in, something, I make sure I follow it logically and I get it. That's me. And that is another factor why I am able to proudly say I'm a degree holder today. Because along the line, I tried and I sat for a diploma. Then I went to Olabisi Onabanjo for my degree program, Ilewe Kwagba. Yeah, I did it as a part-time, but yeah, I went to school. I really went. I really studied to mass com. Not that way, mo lọ síbẹ̀ mo kàn wọ́n á máa mú certificate fún mi. No. I sat for it. I read and I passed. So I really went to, university to obtain that certificate, and I can proudly say, okay, if you put me to test, you will know this is a mass communication student. That's the way.
At the time you started theater, it was a very tough period then.
Yeah, very tough.
How did you cope with all the old men, all the big men
In the
industry? Considering that, they were like no nonsense people. They would always ask you for the best and for
maybe it's influenced. I have just said it now that I am one person that is so determined, and when you are determined, that means you must have got this out of being disciplined. Maybe it could have contributed to my being disciplined at least to an extent. I'm not saying I'm totally, I know my children will even tell you my father is a disciplinarian. I don't condone unnecessary things. I don't condone any out of peculiarness. I don't condone it. So I am a disciplinarian. Maybe that's the kind of orientation that we had there, the kind of orientation I had under the tutelage of all those people that I've just mentioned, who have helped me a lot. Then those leaders that you are referring to, except the fact that majority of them were exploiters, no doubt about that. They will use us, and nothing will, be shown for all what we were doing then, because you just be following Oga. Oga will give you money. If you are being paid, if you are given anything, it's just to sustain you, just for you to eat so that you can have the strength to perform the next day. It's not because they want you to go and establish your family, or and that is why the market is saturated there. That is the reason why the market is actually saturated, because if you don't go out of Oga, you cannot make anything. So you have to opt out and go and get yourself established. Do the same thing these Ogas, were doing. You will do the same thing. So almost everybody then were exploiters until, it got to a stage that people started, borrowing themselves brains. So, well, Nikaluwa bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ṣe bó ṣe yẹ kán ṣe, but they now started doing it right. Then, but the fact remains that those people that we trained under, those that we trained under them, they were very disciplined, and they instilled that discipline in us. They make sure they inject that sanity into our heads. So it keeps us, going. It has helped a lot. Uh, they rivalry, yes, rivalry, but among themselves, not among the young ones, not among those under them. Rivalries, yes, no doubt about that. We are not too young today to know that there was rivalry, to an extent. Then, in fact, they don't want you to go and act with another person. So rivalry, sets in then also was, all around, revolved around theater those days, but not to an extent of affecting those people under them. So we keep going. If you know you can't cope with your guy again, you can get away and go and join another guy. And nothing will happen.
At the time you started off, who were your contemporaries? Who would you call those you?
Well, that's a very good question. I met some, along the line, so that I will say, okay, for real, I will agree that these are my contemporaries. The likes of Connor, I met along the line. We met the likes of, there is one guy in Lagos, called Remy Chita. Yeah, Chita. Yes, he's been there for a while too. Then when I was in Abeokuta, Eboloyede is prominently, active in Abeokuta then. So I will refer as my contemporaries because yes, only my respect to me, but I know that it is not that the age is that, the gap is not that much, it's not that wide, and it's been in the system, for a very long time too. Then along the line, I met the likes of Yinka Odule, the Ugo stuff, then Bolaji, yes, Bolaji Salami, Luku. Those were my contemporary then, Bolaji Salami, that Luku, and some other people like that. But those people that we were together during Tubosun Ogunsi stuff, that we were together under him, majority of them are no more in the system. They have, they have decided to go into some other things. Maybe when they started saying it as because theater is survival for the fittest.
Why did you opt out at that time?
Well, I won't opt out for anything. I won't opt out for anything for any reason. I will believe that when I start something, I just have to end it, and I must try it. That has been my philosophy. I know that if I choose today to go into something else, I will still make it. That's my life. That is my own life. I don't give up easily. I don't give up. And that is why some people think Dele is a very tough guy. Because they see me as somebody who is so tough. Well, I'm not tough. In fact, I'm too emotional for anyone to be referred, to me as somebody who is tough. The toughness in me is compared to the emotional side of my life, the toughness is nothing to write home about, honestly. But when I say I want this, I just have to get it. And life itself is just like that. It's like when one is cycling a bicycle, to keep your balance, you have to keep moving. That's the way I see life.
You've also been very active in the politics of the industry.
Yeah.
How did you find, what has been your experience?
Well, it has been very, very tough. Very, very tough, no doubt about that. Especially when you're in the midst of some people who cannot really understand why you are into it. They thought maybe because I wanted people to call me president or call me this call. No, no, no. I am a crusader. I believe in live and let live. And when I am not saying that, I am ready to spearhead and make sure you give us what we have. The right is just the problem. I always want the right to be given to those who deserve it. And that is why I've been involved in politics of theater for a very long time. I became the Secretary General for ANTP in 1982 when Baba Ogungbe was the chairman. We were having just 4 or 5 people, managing the affairs of theater then. I mean, the ANTP. Baba Adejobi was in charge of Old Oyo State, which Oyo and Osun there. So he was in charge of Old Oyo. Baba Ogungbe was in charge of Ogun State, which I was the secretary. Then Ayinla Olumegbo, Baba Ayinla Olumegbo was in charge of Lagos State. One man, Ogundele, Baba Ogundele was in charge of Kwara State. Then on those states, Baba Jumali was the youngest of all the chairmen there. He was the youngest of the, chairman then when Baba Ogunde himself was the national president. Maybe because of my little education then, this idea of considering secretariat the job, also why one of the reasons why they actually made me the secretary, because we have very few people who are educated, then very, very few people in the industry of being people. Because of the little education I have as a grade 2 grade 2 certificate holder, so I was able to clinch that position as the secretary of ANTP. But in 1995, because of my radicalism, in 1995, I decided to contest as the president of, where I was, persuaded not to go further. I overdid everything, but later I became the vice president to Chief Jimani, and that was 1995. That was 1995. So I've been very, very active in the politics of theater, especially the Yoruba one dance.